Well, thank you for your patience. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Recognize that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Lillooet Nation. Has someone motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Josephine Ayres, second Director Mack. Opposed, nobody, motion carries. We do not have a closed meeting today, so there's nothing to rise in the report from the closed meeting. Consent agenda. I have a motion to approve. Mayor, second by Director Birch-Jones. Questions or comments? Neighbour, motion carries. Any business arising from the minutes? No. Staff reports and other business. 7.1 acting CAO verbal update.
Thank you. Angela Belsham, Director of Legislative and Corporate Services, Acting CAO. The update this morning is just regarding the Dryden Creek wildfire in Squamish, and to inform the EAD committee that staff are on support and standby. And for the most up-to-date information on the wildfire, to please visit the BC Wildfire Services website.
Do you know if Britannia Beach have been called in to assist with that?
I have not been informed whether or not they've been called in. Protective services staff are keeping informed and attending meetings.
No.
Yes.
I didn't want to call them last night in case they had been called in, so. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Motion to receive?
A motion to
Okay.
receive?
Yeah, moved by Director Birch-Jones, second by Director Mayor. In favour, this motion carries. 7.2 request for decision notice on title construction contrary to building bylaw regulations. Holdings Limited. EAD.
Sure. Great.
Okay,
Good morning.
good morning. Over to you.
Thanks. Jay McEwen, Chief Building Official with the Squamish-Lillooet Regional District. With me is Laura Scar, Planning and Building Assistant. A quick overview. Notice on title, or Section 57 of the Community Charter, was provided to local governments by the province of British Columbia as a tool to administer and enforce the BC Building Code and local building bylaws. A notice on title serves as a public warning to potential buyers, creditors, or other stakeholders that the property may be in breach of bylaws or regulations. It also encourages voluntary compliance with bylaws and regulations to reduce risk to the local government. Once a notice on title has been filed, it can be removed once the non-compliance is brought back into compliance. The property owner has the opportunity to speak today. The property owner must be on the property title, or an agent authorization must be provided. 7.2, is that, am I correct? 7.2.
Yes.
Subject property at 14953 Squamish Valley Road in electoral area D. Key issue, a stop work order was posted on June 2nd, 2022 for the alteration and addition to a single family dwelling without building permits. On June 6, 2022, the property owners at the time, and as of now were the previous property owners, were contacted and reiterated that a stop work order for the construction of a structure on the property had been posted. On November 5th, 2024, the property owner, which is the current property owners, were contacted via registered letter regarding the stop work order. Contacted again via registered letter on March 17th, 2025. On March 25th, 2025, the property owners had a phone conversation with the building official in which compliance options were discussed. And on May 6th, the property owners were contacted via registered letter that notice on title will be presented to the EAD Council today. As the structure exists and no permit was completed, staff requests that a notice on title be placed at this time. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
No, that is as a self.
No, just want to ask you if you have.
Yeah, so Basically, my name's Ron Sargent. I'm the owner of the property and came all the way up from South Surrey to attend this meeting and we purchased the property in 2023. And I did my due diligence. I have lawyers that they checked the property and there was nothing on the property at that time. Otherwise, we would have complied. You know, like of saying, you know, either, you know, give me a lower price, knowing that this structure had to come down, or, you know, it's you basically with the property there is we've rented it out. So being a rental property, I'm in a situation here right now, which I notified, I think it was yourself there, is Laura?
Laura, yes.
Look, yeah. That, you know, the property is being rented, that, yes, I understand that there is a stop work order. I wasn't aware of the stop work order until I got a notification. And then it's like, okay, what do we have to do to deal with it to get into compliance? And I understand that, you know, it was, but again, when I did purchase the property, there was nothing on there. We did do a title search. There was nothing applied to it. Of course, we bought the property and we have cattle on it, and we also have 3 people that are leasing the you know, rooms from us. So now I'm in a problem where, okay, I want to bring this to compliance. I have actually got a set of drawings that we've just got drawn up to do it, but I also have a problem that I have a lease with these people, and the last one runs out in February of next year. So I'm in a situation, you know, what do we do with these people that are leasing off the property? And I get it that we're going to actually, what I want to do is apply for a permit and then build the new building with the notification that we tear down the existing one that's there. And then our lease runs out at I'm not sure how long it takes to get a permit in this district, but you know, if it's 3 months, 6 months or whatever, and then, but I'm in a problem where there's a lease of up to the end of February of 2026. So this is where the situation is. It's kind of like, I get it that, you know, the building's not in compliance, but I have people leasing there, and you know what Squamish-Lillooet, it's hard to, you know, you get these people in there and you have to give notification, you know, and then I don't want to have to deal with, you know, evicting these people unless you guys give me, you know, I understand that you can evict them with, you give me a government order that then I don't have to deal with the rental boards. You know, so that's one way of evicting them, but you know, it's hard to find places it's reasonable rent. I'm only charged like $1,000 a month, you know, per person. So they're young people, right? So, you know, it's hard to find places like in town to rent at that value. But I am in the process of gonna issue you know, for a new building that we're gonna rent out. So I'm gonna keep the property as a rental property. And you know, so basically that's where I am. I totally get where you guys are coming from. It's not in compliance. But I don't mind if you have to send a building inspector and take a look at the building that's existing there right now. You know, that obviously never got a work permit. You're the building inspector. Did you inspect or did you just, you know, like what happened as far as the stop work order? Did you go into the building at all, or?
Okay. Could you address the questions here?
Yeah.
So, Jay, would you please, could you deal with that?
Yeah, through the chair, I did place the stop work order as a result of work that we viewed from the exterior of the building, so
Okay.
I gained the interior. Further, notice 57 doesn't affect the livability of the building. We're not asking anyone to vacate the building, just the notice placed on title until such time as the property can be brought into compliance, which it sounds like that we're on a path towards doing that someday.
Okay, so
The notice on title. The making those basic out. There may be other reasons why to come into play, but
Well,
that's not part of this discussion.
Well, part of the discussion when I called, they said basically that, no, we will not give a building permit out until that building is torn down. So I'm in a kind of like, if I issue, this is coming right from your city, that, you know, we will not, like, I'll apply for a building permit. But I have this existing building here, so that there's people renting that are want to go into this new building. And is there any way of keeping that when this building's there? Just, you know, then tear down the building that's there right now. Now, the one building is they had an attachment of the old building, which is, I understand has been grandfathered, was built in like 1920 or something like that. And it's right on the property line, because now I got a survey done. And it doesn't fall into what the setbacks are. So I do not want that building. Between you and I, that building, you know, we're gonna put it in, you know, where it should be. It neighbors right onto the existing property right beside it, and it's a bit of an eyesore. So that part there, I do, but I'm in a situation where I got renters where I promised, and they want to continue on renting, and I'm not interested in, you know, selling the property. I'm gonna keep it, because my daughter lives right next door, and she leases the back part of the property for her cattle. So that, you know, and we're trying to make the property viable, and it's making it, and, you know, unfortunately, it's getting tougher and tougher for these young kids to make anything viable out in the valley, you know, that, with the cost of everything. But saying that, I do have and I can email you a set of drawings and the survey of what's going on right now. I'm just, after I meet with you guys, I'm gonna go to, get the application to, you know, apply for a building permit. So that's the stage I'm at right now.
So I just need some clarification here. The situation as far as our department is concerned is we can't issue a building permit at this time until the other building is. No,
Through the chair, it would depend on what the zoning and agricultural land commission also allows. So there's a multifaceted process to building permit application in these circumstances. However, the building department and planning and development services would be willing to work with any applicant in trying to bring a property into compliance.
so there's some discussion to be had beyond today.
Further clarity, we wouldn't be able to just go ahead and issue a new building permit without the intent to bring the contravention into compliance. No, we would need some sort of negotiation, there would need to be a path or a plan to compliance for the building that is in contravention on the property. We can't just go ahead and issue new building permits endlessly on the properties where contraventions exist.
So could we consider something like a lease, the termination of a lease that exists right now as being a date that has to be complied with, and the permit could be issued beyond that? I'm not quite sure.
Through the chair, it would, again, we would have to be in compliance with zoning and the ALC as the land, I'm fairly certain, is in the agricultural land reserve. So we would need to make sure that we're in compliance with all of the necessary bylaws and regulations before we'd be able to go ahead and make a decision. But again, we'd be willing to work with any applicant on a path towards compliance as long as that is the end goal.
Would you like to add something?
Thank you, Claire Dewar, Senior Planner at the Squamish-Lillooet Regional District, and I can speak to the planning specific aspects that are being discussed right now. The subject property is 3 hectares in size and is within the agriculture land reserve and zoned agriculture. As such, you are permitted 1 single family dwelling only. So there is no option to keep an existing single family dwelling while you build a new single family dwelling without involving the Agricultural Land Commission and a zoning amendment. So the options to bring the property into compliance need to involve 1 single family dwelling.
So that other dwelling has to go before another building can be started?
From a zoning perspective, we wouldn't be able to consider new building permits while there is an existing single family dwelling on the property.
Okay, now that's not part of this report. This is something that has to be negotiated away from this meeting, doesn't it?
Through the chair, typically, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All we're talking about right now is placing a notice on title.
Present state of the property, yes, we're
Yes.
looking at it right now.
I've got one question. If they were to get a demolition permit, how long a time frame are demolition permits valid for?
Through the chair, for the same period as a regular building permit, so it would be a 3-year permit period with the option to renew for an additional 2 years under that initial demolition permit is a building permit just for that specific type. So the same timelines would apply as to a traditional building permit.
If they decided to get a demolition permit, would the notice on title still be valid? To,
Through the chair, if upon completion, a successful completion of that demolition permit, then they would, the homeowners would have the opportunity to apply to have the notice removed.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No, not at this point.
Okay,
I just know that on our property, we lived in a beat up trailer while we designed and built the house. And it was pretty strict that we couldn't have the 2 dwellings operational at the same time, but it was fine to live in the one while the other one was built and move into the other one and get rid of the initial one. That's not an option in this situation, if I'm hearing you right?
Through the chair, I'd have to defer to the zoning expert in the room.
Thank you. So through the chair, the zoning bylaw allows dwelling in an RV while you are constructing a home. And that is different than living in an existing single family dwelling while you build a new single family dwelling. And specifically, in the agriculture land reserve, we are hearing from the ALC, they are really not seeking more dwellings in the ALR. And it's really hard to ensure that if you build a new dwelling, that the previous or original dwelling is actually demolished or removed.
okay. We clearly have need for some discussion, meeting, negotiation beyond the scope of what's on our agenda today. So I'm going to cut us off at this point.
If I can just reply one thing, it's this building that they did attach was a trailer that I don't know if you've had any pictures or of it, but it's actually a trailer that they attached to the old building, going back to exactly what you were saying, that you stayed in a RV. Would this be an RV if I can prove that there's a trailer, the front, hookup of the trailer sitting right there, that we can continue, I can apply for the building permit? This is I'm just saying that,
I understand what you're doing. The situation is though that we can't resolve that issue right now.
Okay, okay.
And I just want you to commit to working with staff beyond this time to get that resolved and find a plan for way forward. Meanwhile, to come back here, we have this question of notice on title. Let's see, the preferred option is file section 57 community and charter notice in the land title office with respect to the property. The property owner may apply to have the notice removed once the contravention has been resolved. That's option one, there was option 2 and 3 as well.
If I could just say one other thing, if I can get a lenience on, say, a 6 month period as far as the notification, because it's one of the things with the notification, if I do get financing, it becomes an issue as far as the, you know, dealing with the finance. If, you know, I'm here in good faith, you know, coming up here and saying, if I can get, I have no problem you guys putting on, give me a period of, you know, say 6 months here. Like I'm thinking till the last lease, which is February, you know, of 2026, that you can put a notice on right away. I have no problem. In the meantime, I can get all my ducks in order as far as the application for the new build. Put all that stuff in and deal with the city hall, with the planning department and work with you guys on this. Ultimately, what I want to do, build a new place. Move the renters from their A to B. If I have to evict the renters as they go in time. Tear it down, if you guys aren't gonna give me the permit till then, I have to, I can't do anything till February, then I'll apply for a demolition permit in for February. So when the last lease, and then that way, everything's in compliance, cause there won't be a building on it, and I'll be moving forward. I'll apply for it right now as far as it goes. I can go into the city and do that. You know, and then I'll apply for the demolition permit saying this, but this is the, you know, I'm looking for some compliance on that part there before you put the notification on. And then I can continue on moving forward. You know, I'm just throwing it out there, like, you know, I'm trying to work with you guys here.
Yeah, I think that everybody seems to want to come to a good conclusion here, so I would make a motion that we give the gentleman 6 months to get everything in order. Work with the building department and then if things haven't straightened out by then we're back to putting the notice on title. So that would be my motion.
Second.
Sure, I'll second.
Second. Any comments?
Well, I'm in agreement.
Okay, I'll call question on favor. Motion carries.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I'll deal with the planning department, you know, we'll do that right away.
Yeah, you're not going into the city, by the way.
What's that?
You don't have to go into the city.
No, it's around the corner.
Right
It's
here.
right around the corner,
Yeah.
okay. First time in Pemberton for me, so
Yeah.
this is, that's why I got my daughter to take me up here, cause you know, I had no idea where. I was ready for a big city hall. So,
This is it.
this is it, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I
Okay.
took a picture of your Zoom thing, cause I'm opening up another lumberyard in the Lower Mainland. And I like this type of idea that you guys got here,
Good.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
works, it's great.
Okay,
okay, I really appreciate your time, thank you.
thank you. Okay, that brings us to 7. That's where it was. There we go. Request for decision notice on title construction contrary to building bylaw regulations. Motion to pick up area C. And I believe we've got somebody joining us on Zoom, have we, for this?
Through the chair, it's my understanding that Mr. Crusher was hoping to attend virtually. However, he's having challenges with his internets, so he won't be able to join.
Oh, okay. Thank you. In that case, we'll just proceed. Over to you. Sir, or madam?
7:03.
I'm ready to continue, yeah, good, okay, great. All right, subject property is located at 1045 Cedar Grove Lane in electoral area C. The is a building permit application was received in April 9th, 2020 for a single family dwelling with a suite. Building permit was issued on February 24th, 2022 with a noted expiry of February 24th, 2025. On January 12th of 23, a letter was sent to the property owner stating that no construction work had commenced and no correspondence had been received in contravention of the SORD's building bylaw. On February 7th, 2023, the property owner was contacted again via email noting that no inspections had been completed. On August 22nd, 2024, the property owner was contacted again by email with a notice of the building permit had expired on March 9th. On March 17th, 2025, the property owner was contacted via email and mail with notice that the building permit was expired on March 9, 2023, and staff would be drafting a report to the Electoral Area Directors Committee. On May 12th, 2025, the property owner was contacted again by a registered letter and email with notice that the request for decision would be heard. As construction kind of exists and the permit was not completed, staff requests that a notice on title be placed at this time. As noted, the property owner was struggling to attend today virtually to speak to the request for decision. We were made aware that he'd been in contact with Director Matt at some point. No? Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that, but that was a number of years ago.
Oh, okay, understood. So happy to answer any questions.
Through the chair, I did just receive an email from the property owner with something he wanted to have noted. I can read that aloud if.
To read the email? Yeah, please do.
So this is from Tyler just a minute ago. He said, I started the construction under the permit, but we hit some financing issues before I could pour the foundation, so I hit pause. When the notice came requiring inspection, the site was under snow, so I didn't see there being much I could do to get an inspection. I am just waiting on the final work from my engineer on a reduced scope and will be submitting for a new permit to begin again as soon as we receive a permit. The work that has been done will be able to be utilized, which is the reason it hasn't been taken apart yet. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yes. Questions?
So in that email, he says that he is in the process of, he has to get a new building permit. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and is there any issues with him getting a new permit?
Through the chair, not that I can foresee.
So if he come in today and applied for a new permit, he would be able to get that permit and then carry on. Is that correct?
Presumably, yes.
Okay, so I guess the other question is, if he did come in today or tomorrow, which I would recommend he do, how long would it take to actually put that permit in place?
Through the chair, if the building permit application was flawless, our lead time to issuance is between 12 and 14 weeks.
That's as fast as it goes?
Through the chair, given the time of year and the volume that the planning and development services are dealing with right now, those are the promises that we make to.
So it's like 3 months then, correct?
Typically, yes.
Say, okay. So what I'm gonna make a motion that we give this gentleman 3 months to get that permit in place. And then once he gets that permit in place, then he can start building again. He can't start building until he gets the permit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then I would make the motion that we give him 3 months to get his new permit and get, I guess, get legal and then carry on.
Just for clarity, a notice on title doesn't prevent him from applying for the building permit today or tomorrow or next week. So, correct? A notice on title doesn't prevent him from applying for the building permit and starting the 12-week process.
Through the chair, absolutely correct, yes.
Okay, so placing the notice on title today only does just that. He can apply for his building permit. He can go through the process, presuming his building permit hasn't changed, his plans haven't changed. He was approved in the past, therefore he likely will be approved. Now, building codes have changed since 2020 when he first applied. Therefore, there may be changes required to his plans. We don't know, and that's not the issue for today. I think placing the notice on title is exactly what this committee has asked for the delegated authority to do. It still allows him to do everything he needs to do. It allows him to start the process with urgency so that he will get his permit in the time that it will take, to the 3 months that you are suggesting, without delaying the process. It doesn't delay anything. So I would suggest that follow the process and encourage him to get his process started. It doesn't cost him anything.
But it does cost him something to get the title taken off.
I see. That's your concern. Okay, that's fair.
So,
I'll second the motion.
Okay. I'm glad for the clarity.
I'm
Thank you.
just a little confused. You want to give him 3 months to apply for a building permit?
no. I want him to apply for it today or tomorrow. And then it takes 3 months for him, for the process to get the permit, right?
Without the penalty of a notice on title
Yeah,
today.
I get that, but then,
So if he doesn't apply for the permit and get the permit within the 3 months, so in 3 months, if that permit is not issued, then it comes back here to put the notice on title.
I'm just questioning why we need to give him 3 months to apply for a permit.
No, I'm not giving him 3 months.
It sounds as though we are, that's what it sounds.
No,
That's how long it takes.
it's, we were told that it takes 3 months
Understand that,
to get the permit.
yes.
So if he applies right away, which I would suggest he should do, put in for the permit right away, it's gonna take him 3 months to get the permit from us.
Avoid the penalty of the notice on
No, I
title.
understand that. I understand that. I would prefer to see something that said he's got this will come back next month. And if he hasn't applied for the permit by then, there's no question about it, notice on title goes on.
If he hasn't applied for the permit
Yeah.
within a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it. We can amend that. But the thing is, give him a month then to apply for the permit.
Yeah.
But if he comes in and applies for the permit,
Yeah,
then it's gonna take him 3 months to
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
permit,
I
right?
understand that.
So if there's no penalty, so once he's applied for the permit, we wait for the permit to be issued. Right? So,
Yeah,
in other words, I don't wanna see us coming back with a notice on title in 3 or 4 months.
Saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we are saying the same thing. If the application has not been made in a month's time, we're not discussing it anymore, we're going to put in this.
Yeah.
Something along those
Okay, that's
lines.
fine.
Now, I've got a couple of people, 3 people. First of all, I think Angela,
Sorry, I'll defer to Jay. He has some clarifying comments on the
Okay.
topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Through the chair, the staff would be reluctant to bring another request for decision forward based on permit issuance. There could be a number of extenuating circumstance. The property owner has indicated that he does have a redesign in mind. There could be a lot of extenuating circumstances, and sometimes it takes, like I said, a flawless permit application potentially takes about that 3 months. Very few applications we receive are flawless, and we do a lot of work with homeowners to get them to an application that we can issue a building permit for, which in some cases, and in this original case, took close to a
Okay.
year.
But what we're doing here now is we're giving him a month
to
to
apply.
apply for the permit. If he doesn't apply for the permit, then we go back to this.
Notice on title.
Yeah, the permit once it's applied, it may take 4, 5, 6 months. We understand that.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't apply, You know, we just want to give them a push, say. You've got a month to make an application. If you don't make the application, then we're coming back to this proposal here.
So through the chair, then, staff would return to the EAD with a request for decision for September. In the case that he doesn't apply.
No,
No,
July.
July.
If he doesn't apply before July.
Chair, that doesn't give us enough time in the community charter to make the necessary arrangements and contact to the applicant
September.
to prepare, so it would be September. Would be the earliest.
So just for clarity, the motion that's currently on the
Yes.
floor is 3 months to get a permit,
To apply.
apply for a permit. Yep,
Not to be issued the permit.
to apply. That's what's been moved and seconded.
So that would take us until
September.
September.
So let's leave the motion the way it
I'll make a
is.
comment after.
Comment afterwards, okay.
Through the chair. So that 3-month period would expire in September, meaning the request for decision staff in the event that the applicant doesn't apply for October committee meeting.
You want to comment now or I'm going to call a question?
After.
Okay, call a question, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
I guess the comment is, with the new building permit, you have to go to the new building code, correct?
Correct.
So, yeah, it may take a while. You know, I'm not sure that he's aware of that right now. And he needs to be made aware of that.
I just had a question as well, but looking at these pictures of this, the foundations that are poured, are they gonna be okay can he,
Through the chair, I don't believe he poured anything.
what is all that then?
Reinforcing steel ready to be covered with concrete. I don't believe he's placed any concrete.
Okay.
No.
Right. Okay. So we'll move on to 7.4, those on title, driven by regulations Gucci Area C.
Here, what I'd like to do with this one is I'd like to defer this for 1 month to July. And I'd like to meet with Jay, just to go over what they're doing there and their application or whatever. I met with them last night and got a letter of sort of, the schedule of events, shall we say. So I just like to go over everything with you and then, you know, to get my mind straight on, because what I read in here and I read what they've given me, I need clarification on that. So anyways, I'd like to defer for 1 month, meet with you at your convenience and go over this.
Okay,
I'll second that.
we're not actually at a motion just yet.
Okay.
I have a question about this letter, which is addressed to the SLRD Electoral Area Directors Committee, outlining concerns about this. What should I do? Should that be,
Was that circulated to,
pardon?
was that just to you?
No, well, I've got a copy of it, but I just was on.
I was given a copy of it and I was given actually 4 copies, 1 for each director. So,
It's addressed.
pardon me?
What about me?
EAD committee.
No, I didn't have one for you, sorry.
I'm on this committee too.
The question is, what technically, how do I deal with that? I don't.
Thank you. Through the chair, it is not part of the record on this agenda. As it was just received by the EAD committee members. If there is a decision to defer this, there would be an opportunity to address and attach that correspondence to the July report, so that it can become a part of the record for the public and so that the committee has time to review it.
Because quite frankly, I'm not comfortable sort of proceeding without considering this, getting some answers to that. So a deferment plus bringing that.
Yep.
that forward. So,
I'll second
I
it.
haven't seen it, so I don't know what it says.
no, well, it's just, I guess if the person were here, they would be saying those things, but they're not here, so. But anyway, a motion on the floor to defer,
I'll second it.
and you're seconding that. Any comments? No? Okay.
In favor?
Right, I'll call the question on that. All in favour? Opposed, motion carries. So now I need to make sure that, let me give you this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Whatever you want.
I'll talk to you after to get it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you thank you. Yeah. So, the financial wisdom, oh, there it is.
There's one.
Yeah. Information report, select funds. Molly, welcome.
Morning, everyone. This is the most recent copy of the select funds report. I'll maybe just open this up for questions. If anyone has any.
I'm good.
Nobody got any questions? We're all happy? Wow, that's a change. Well, we usually
You're
don't.
doing a good job.
I'm always happy when it's
Well,
like.
that's true.
I see that the $800 or no, whatever it is for the plaque for the fire chief in Lillooet is still sitting there. I have a picture of him with the plaque from the newspaper, if that's. Is it this?
That has actually been completed now.
Yes.
Mark was holding on to his last receipt and I did get that. So on the next version, that
Thank
should be all
you.
settled.
Thank you.
Yeah, Colin, I'm sorry, do you finish?
Go ahead, I might have a question.
Yeah, just that as far as I know, the sun shelter has been completed. So that I've got $13,000 committed. But
That $13,000 is a contribution to other services.
yeah,
So that's been expensed.
So
It's
it's
just,
gone.
it's been moved to the Britannia Beach Parks and Trails
it
Service.
stays on here as a record, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay. I was hoping they wouldn't need the whole 13, there you go. Right, I'm okay, everybody okay on this? Got a motion to receive? Motion to demand.
Yep, yep.
Rich Jones, all in favour, opposed, motion carries. And we move right into 7.6, first quarter financials, EAD services. And we have gone in place for that.
Yeah, so these are the first quarter financials for the EAD services. There's no like major issues or things that are trending over budget yet, which is good news, but the quarter one financials, it can be tough to get a full picture of what the year is gonna look like after the first 3 months. One thing I will note is that last year building inspections came in a little, building inspection revenue was slightly under budget and it's trending that way again in Q1. But I do know that those revenues tend to pick up in Q2 once building season starts. So that was kind of the only thing that was looking a little variable from the budget. Otherwise, I'll open it up for any questions on any of the services, financial statements.
Yeah. Director Mack.
So with the building inspections, is the building, I guess the building department should be answering this, but are the building permits that are out, are they behind schedule or?
From what I remember in my conversations, I don't necessarily think it was behind schedule. I think like in 2024, there was just less applications than we had budgeted, and it tends to fluctuate year over year. We usually budget like an average of the last few years. This year was the last 2 years. And we do tend to just see some variation from year to year based on other factors in the area and all the reasons. But I do know that I was listening to their conversation. They said they're busy, so I'd expect to see a lot of those revenues come through in Q2 once it's summertime and springtime has started.
Thank you.
Dr. Demare?
Yeah, in the same vein, if we look at the building permit application processing fees, was budgeted for 81,000. And to date, it's 35,000 in the first quarter. So those are the applications, and the actual permits that have gone out, building permits issued was budgeted for almost 300,000, and we're at 3,000.
Yeah.
So we're working through that 12-week process that we're going through,
Right.
why these haven't been issued yet.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a question about Area D regional parks and trails. We've, that's now a cost centre. I don't think we raised any taxes from it this year, I don't recall that.
No.
No, we didn't, but what, how can I access that money? What qualifies as a park or trail?
It would just be identifying projects within Area D that are related to parks and trails. I know we created the forest services for each electoral area. Some had more projects on the work plan than others.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of identifying those projects. There probably are some that have, been just funded through select funds, like minor projects, but it would be
So-
something that's undertaken by staff.
Let me give an example which I'm just familiar with the spit at Oliver's Land, which is Crown land for which we have tenure. We already have a really nice viewing platform on it. I'm going to put some more benches there. And would that qualify?
In terms of, like, are you asking how we could fund it? If it needed to be
Can I
through,
fund it out of here? It's not officially a park. It's a trail
Potentially.
to get to it.
but we didn't have any products in the budget for 2025, so we didn't requisition any funds for 2025. So if you wanted to fund it via tax requisition out of this service, it would need to be on the budget for 2026.
Well, what's that money? Well, that's a reserve, so I can't access that reserve.
So
money?
there is the one budgeted special project is the geotechnical review of BB Parks lands and asphalt trail erosion. So those reserve funds have been budgeted for that project.
Ah, I see. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
I have a few.
Yeah, okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, you go ahead.
Thanks. So starting with civic addressing 1202. We have an Area B civic addressing project, but because it's gonna come out of community works funds and select funds, it's just not gonna show up there. Is that, I'm just clarifying my understanding.
We are gonna allocate the community works funds to that civic addressing service, so the project will show up under the service, but so will the transfer of the community works funds from Area B to offset it. So it won't be funded via the tax requisition funds collected for that service or the reserves that are in there, but it will show up on that financial statement if that project is approved and
Which is actually later on
I
today's
think
agenda.
the next one.
In my mind, it's already done. Okay. All right. And then moving down to Area B, regional parks and trails, there's 4,000 something in reserve. And I think, well, there's been 300,000, it's less now, allocated for the park, Seton, Anderson Lake area. Do you don't, I mean, this isn't a fair question, that originally come from community works funds, you think? That was Mickey Macrae, so that's that long ago.
The Area B Seton Park,
Yes,
that's a community works funds item.
so that's why it doesn't show up.
Yeah, we don't transfer the funds out of the community works fund reserve and into a specific service. It would only be once that the project costs are incurred that it would actually flow through to the service, so.
Okay, then, okay, all right. When I see on the civic addressing budget exhibit 1202. There's an entry for 4,950, which is for civic addressing project. Was that the pilot on the High Line?
Yes,
Right on.
That is the two projects from 2024, and I believe those were under the select funds, but
They were
yeah.
between areas B and C. So that's okay.
I think that actually needs a correction. Because I don't see the select fund transfer revenue there, so I'll look at that.
And I also saw the investment in the emergency plan for livestock and ranches in area B. And or for the entire SLRD, I presume. I'm moving down to emergency planning, exhibit 1761. And I just wondered, this isn't so much a question for Colin, but I see Ms. Stewart here too, if that emergency agriculture, livestock, that component of the emergency planning, if maybe the area B, AAC could contribute to that planning. It was just a thought.
The AIF livestock emergency plan grant, is that the one in question?
I guess so.
That's managed by Mark. I don't know if Claire has any input
Okay, that's a
into it.
question for me, for Mark.
Yeah, but that is a grant funded project, so I don't know. We'd have to look into whether or not we
So there'll be
can.
lots of goes around,
Yeah.
what it's spent on.
I don't think I could answer that today, but I'm happy to take it offline if you wanna
Okay,
talk more about it.
thank you.
Well,
Yeah, the fire smart waste tipping, so now I'm down to exhibit 2902. Towards the bottom. And there's an entry there for 813. So that was, and I remember really well allocating money. I remember allocating some money for the waste tipping, the extra fees at the landfill, once we'd spent all the fire smart money that was available. And I think I allocated more than $800.13 or $813.80. Is that extra money sitting there for future use for the same purpose?
The allocation for that amount was specific to, I believe it was September and October of 2024. So we only allocated the actual costs that were incurred for those months, and then
Okay.
anything else was reallocated back to the Area B select funds.
Okay.
So there's nothing outstanding right now for 2025 for that same purpose, but we could reallocate it via resolution if
Depending
it
on how
was
it's
needed.
going this fire season,
Yeah.
if necessary. Okay. I believe those are all my questions. Thank you, Chair.
just one quick question, not directly related to this. We sold a fire engine from Britannia Beach.
We did.
The money, does that automatically go into the reserve for that?
The revenue from the sale goes to the Britannia Beach Fire Service as revenue from sale of assets.
So it will go into reserve then probably, will it?
I don't know if we budgeted as a transfer to reserve. It's just a revenue right now, and
But it's that's where it lives.
it's in the service for
Okay.
Britannia Beach Fire. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I wanna go back to the building inspection services.
Sure.
So last year, actual was 165,000. And we budgeted 299,000 this year. And we've got a pretty healthy reserve. So if we don't get to that 299,000, so we're right back to what we did last year. Would next year we'll be taking money out of the reserve and putting it in? How we make up that difference?
Well, that would be discussed through the budgeting process for 2026. For this year, we did budget a transfer from reserve to offset the shortage of revenues that we had last year. So that's generally in years where we have excess building revenues, we'll transfer to reserve and work on building that reserve. And in years when building revenues are lower, then we'll usually transfer from reserve to offset. But there's a lot of other factors that would play into the budget,
Yeah.
projects and stuff that would determine the actual level of transfer from reserve that's required.
Okay, thanks.
Well done.
Motion to
Yeah.
see,
Is that what you're doing?
I'm
Proposing that?
thinking it out as I speak.
One second.
I'm just asking if you finished.
I have finished.
Yes, okay, so you're good.
I would like
Was
to
that
move
motion?
receipt of the
Thank you.
report.
I'll second
Second
it.
director to mayor. All in favour? Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm here for one more.
Oh, are
but-
you? Where's the one
It's an
more?
important one, it's
Can't get rid of
Let's get
EAD.
past it. Okay, community works. Oh, here we go, 7.7. Okay.
I'd like
That,
to make a motion that $1,000 be allocated to civic addressing service, cost center 1202 from Area B select funds towards the cost of communication mail outs for the civic addressing signage project within Area B of the SLRD. And
yeah,
should I keep going?
I'll second that.
no.
wanna do one at a time?
Or select funds, is delegated, yes.
Okay, so let's do that,
So let's move.
up to 1,000.
Second,
Seconded.
mayor. All questions, all in favour? Opposed, motion carries.
And
Now,
thank you to staff. I know there was some extra footwork to come up with that up to. And I also would like the opportunity to see the letter before it gets sent out. Do I need to make a motion there?
no, that's fine.
And then the second that is that $30,859 be allocated to civic addressing service cost center 1202 from Area B Community Works Fund towards the cost of purchase and installation of civic addressing signage within Area B of the SLRD.
And that is recommended to the board.
Recommending that to the board.
Yeah.
I'll move that.
Second. Any questions or comments? Do we have any questions or comments for that?
No, good.
We're comfortable with it? Everybody's happy? All question, all in favour? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a comment.
Maybe by demise of the Area B director.
Yeah, I reviewed the application form and looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I like what I see. Everything is well done, what needs to transpire. And I'm looking forward to its completion because I would like to do the same for Area A. Once this is completed,
Who is responsible for that form, developing the form?
Suzanne.
I think a combination of people looks like.
The form is developed by finance, but Anna in the planning department helps fill in most of the information there as she's leading this
Good
project.
information on that one.
Anna did this one, yeah.
Please note the compliment and pass that on to your colleagues in the finance department, please.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving along. Director for 8.1, which is me. But what I move, it says in our agenda $5,000. I just want to change that to allocate up to $8,000 in electoral area D funds for the information signage project located by Oliver's Landing viewing platform in Berry Creek, with funds to be dispersed upon receipt of invoices. So that I won't need up to 8, but I want to put it up to 8 to make sure we take care of
I'll
this.
second that.
Okay, any questions? No question, all in favour? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Moving on to 9.1. We have the senior society luncheon and activities. Moved by Director Matt. Seconded, everybody, everything we need is in place. One question, one in favour, motion carries. Signal Hill Elementary School Grade 7 year-end camping trip.
Yeah, I'd like to move $2,500 towards that event from Area C Select Funds.
Okay, seconded by
Me.
Birch Jones. Any questions or comments? No question, all in favour, motion carries. Bridge River Valley Community Association, Braylon, Baseball Diamond and Cook Shack.
I'm gonna declare a conflict of interest for 9.3 and 9.4. As my daughter's an employee of the BRVCA and my wife is a director on the board.
Thank you. We'll give you some time to vacate.
I'll move 9.3.
9.3, which is $1,000 from Area A Select.
Towards the care and maintenance of the line baseball. Yep, I would like to second that, yep.
More question, all in favour? Opposed, motion carries.
I'll be glad to move 9.4.
Is that just one, let's see. Or the Bear Aware Gleaning Program?
And Bridge River Valley Community Association, on behalf of the Bear Working Group Committee, they're requesting fund of $4,000 from Electoral A Select towards the Bear Aware Gleaning Program. 2,000 in 2025, 2,000 in the first quarter of 2026. Is what's indicated in the motion.
We can manage that, can't we? Finance can manage that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I've discussed that with finance and they have no problem with that.
Excellent, thank you very much. More question, all in favour? Opposed? That motion carried. You're going to get some, thank you. Just do this for the society.
Yeah, wanna know, I wanna talk to, yeah. Thank you for all of that.
Well, yeah, as much as I can, do, yeah.
Good. Welcome back, sir. And we're on to 9.5, request for funding Just Do It Sports Society Junior Golf.
That is
Area B.
Area B, yes it is. I'd like to make a motion for funding of $2,475 from Electoral Area B Select Funds towards the purchase of sporting equipment for junior golf in Lillooet as outlined in this application.
I'll second that.
So, back to Matt. To a golf course.
There's golf balls, I don't know where they all go.
Fraser River.
It's this is just such a hopping busy event. It's really beautiful to see. There's, I think, 77 kids went through it this year, which is pretty amazing.
Furry Creek Golf Course is known for people losing golf balls.
Thank you very much, Furry Creek.
And they run down the hill to Lillooet, so.
We've got some nice golf balls, like Furry Creek.
Okay, you moved it, seconded by Director Mack. In favour, those motion carries. Little Agricultural Food Society Texas Creek Community Irrigation Project, there we go.
I'll make a motion for funding of $3,500 from Electoral Area B Select Funds to Lillooet Agriculture and Food Society to support the Texas Creek Community Irrigation Project, including the cost of supplies for connecting 4 roadside water access points and replacing existing hoses for the Texas Creek community.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Director Mayor. Any questions? Where is Texas Creek or anything like that, or are you gonna
Texas
are you gonna rename
You
it to
go
Lillooet
past the
Creek?
golf course.
Are you still gonna call it Texas Creek? Okay. Call the question, all in favour? Motion carries. Decision on late business. Now I understand we have something that we want to bring up here.
Yes, there's two items for consideration from the appreciation funds of Area B and Area C. So I
Sorry,
don't know
this
how
is-
much information you need to make a decision on late business.
What funds?
Appreciation funds from Select, from our Select funds in C and B.
We don't vote on appreciation fund,
No,
it's just information.
So then it's just a matter of adding to
You-
information
you-
pieces on appreciation
You don't-
funds.
is the money spent already?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, so then you just want to bring information to us that you spent the money, so you can be reimbursed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to be recorded in the minutes, that's all.
Right, so we need to have that item added, we need 2/3 of us to approve. You don't approve? No. Okay,
Yeah, sorry, the approval is just to add the late business
yeah.
to the item,
Yep.
to the agenda.
So let's check that then. Who's in favour of adding this to the agenda? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's now on the agenda. So
okay.
that's it, right, so now we're at late business, which would be number 1.
The first one is that Area B.
Area which,
Area B
yeah,
purchased a gift certificate. For an employee that made the soccer nets. Was well above and beyond. I don't know how much information to give, just that.
Just that it was spent.
Okay, just that I spent $100 from the appreciation fund of Area B for that,
now,
and
yeah, but the. Okay, I guess that's good enough, because it's just you that's gonna be reimbursed, yeah, okay.
then I guess for the second item is just that Director Mack and I both spent $100 on appreciation fund items. Is that sufficient information? Okay,
There's no vote.
No, that's not all, but you not need to
we're
say
just
where,
stating the amount.
The amount and the purpose was to thank the staff for the tour.
Yeah. And for the tour that for the Area C tour that we had.
SLD stuff? Well,
Interjects
energies, oh, I see,
for
okay,
the tour up the valley that you missed, unfortunately.
yes, I did. Okay. So that's it, then that's recorded now, do we need a motion to?
Motion to receive each one, so if we could go back to the first one, which I'll record as 11.1, which is to receive the discretionary funding from appreciation funds Area B towards the Lillooet soccer
Nets.
net.
Okay,
Yeah, a motion to receive that.
Motion to receive.
Okay,
second,
second,
all in favour, opposed, nobody,
And
motion
this-
carries.
And then the second one was the area, in regards to the Area B and Area C discretionary funding from $100 from each area. Select funds in regards to the thank yous associated with
Oh,
the
receipt.
tour.
yeah, great.
Seconded, got for question, all in favour, motion carries. Okay, so do you have what you need there?
I do, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Motion?
Director's notice of motion, anything there? Hearing nothing, we move on to 13, and I'm gonna move that this meeting be adjourned.
Good.
Any arguments?